And welcome to another episode of the Anime Lounge Short Flights. I'm your host, Lance, here to share with you guys episode 2 of Goblin Slayer Season 2. Now, we all love Goblin Slayer because it's just loaded with blood and gore and action. And again, episode 2 did not disappoint. Another episode of just goblin slaying because, nothing better to do in this anime than obviously slay some goblins. Now, this episode started with kind of a mission carryover from last mission where the blonde priestess girl needed to get more experience and she needs to start leading and giving orders and getting that kind of experience. So she took charge of today's goblin raid, and we got a mission to go help some dwarves out that were getting their tools stolen, and they had to go save some other blonde girl. I forget her title, but if it's one thing you've noticed in this anime is no one has an actual name. Everyone goes by basically what their attacking title is. We got wizards and dwarfs and elves and all that stuff. So I thought that's just always something fun to keep in mind. So they go save that blonde girl who was getting nails shoved through her hand. That was kind of gross and obviously very warranted for the scream she was given. Man. Yeah, the show's a little graphic, but that's totally cool because that's kind of the appeal of this dark side. It's very mature. So the biggest takeaway from this episode was we got to learn who this red-haired wizard boy, not who he was, but a little bit more about him. And we got to find out that he had a sister who was killed by goblins, and that sister was someone that we learned who she was in season 1, and they refreshed our memories. She was stabbed by a poisonous dagger, and that's what ended up killing her. And the reason why the boy wizard is always just so angry and he has a hatred towards these goblins is because everyone in town is mocking his sister's death because it was by goblins, and goblins have this thing about them. There's these weak guys, but we know as viewers, obviously watching all this stuff, and Goblin Slayer knows that when goblins get in big groups, they are dangerous, and they tend to have even more dangerous leaders that are telling them what to do. So he's mad that people are making fun of his sister's death, which makes sense. I would too. And Goblin Slayer, upon learning this information, gets super sad because he's the one that couldn't save her. And now he's dealing with her brother. And he can see the hatred in his eyes. And I would like to assume that soon he's going to start feeling a connection between the two because they both lost sisters to goblins. And I think it's just obvious that there's going to be that kind of connection. But they made it, red-haired wizard boy made it clear that he's not going to acknowledge wizard or goblin slayer. So I find that very interesting. They have the same mission and they just want to kill all the goblins that they can, but he just doesn't respect goblin slayer. And I think it's just going to be obvious that eventually that's going to go away. There's going to be a level of respect for each other and everything will be all hunky-dory afterwards. So maybe in the next episode, there'll be another mission where we go slay some goblins, and red hair wizard boy he's probably going to get pinned, cornered, and he's going to be looking death in the eye, and he's going to get saved by Goblin Slayer. I'm going to call that one, and then that's what's going to cause the respect to start rising from there. So other than that, this was a pretty simple episode, and all that mattered was we got to see our gore from slaying some goblins. If you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them and let me know what you guys thought of this episode as well. Plug time. Please go follow the Anime Show on Facebook and Instagram. Stay up to date, everything anime related, because they're always up to date on everything and they have a lot of stuff to share. So with that being said, I will catch you guys next time.